Calligraphy is a visual art related to writing and the design and execution of lettering using a specific writing instrument such as a pen or a nib or an ink brush or such other writing instruments. So basically calligraphy is the art of stylizing letters, numbers and even symbols. Now here's a common myth around calligraphy, that your handwriting should be really good to practice calligraphy, but to be honest this is totally false, as calligraphy has nothing to do with your handwriting. Our handwriting is just the usual writing which sometimes changes from time to time, but calligraphy involves a set of rules and a set of basic strokes and foundational strokes which anyone can learn, and with consistent practice can develop their own style in calligraphy. So your handwriting has nothing to do with calligraphy, and if you think or anyone tells you that you have a really bad handwriting or that you need a good handwriting or improve your handwriting to learn calligraphy, please don't believe in them, because your handwriting and calligraphy are totally different from each other. To be honest, here's a snippet of my actual handwriting and my calligraphy, and as you can see that there is so much of difference in both of them. My handwriting, to be honest, has been like this since my college days, and it sometimes keeps on changing, but my calligraphy remains the same. It basically beautifies over time due to the consistent practice. So don't worry about your handwriting, and don't let your good or bad handwriting decide your calligraphy style. Also, sometimes there is a case that a person is usually writing in like 90 degrees, like straight vertical, and their calligraphy is cursive. Not all styles and forms of calligraphy need to be cursive. We are going to discuss about different forms of calligraphy as well in the further sessions. But for example, as you saw in the snippets, that my usual handwriting is pretty straight and my calligraphy is cursive. So this also proves that there is no relationship between your handwriting and your calligraphy, and literally anyone can learn calligraphy, and it just needs some hard work and dedicated practice and consistent practice of the basic strokes and foundations that define your letters, numbers, and basically over time you can also develop your own style. In fact, consistent practice of calligraphy might improve your handwriting as well, because now you are consistently practicing the formation of the letters, the formation of the strokes, and that consistent practice basically improves our muscle memory and trains our brain to draw a particular letter or a number in a particular way. So if your handwriting is bad, calligraphy might improve your handwriting. I'm not claiming that, but that might be the case. Also, handwriting is the usual writing. It can be like anything. However, calligraphy is an art form. So it's basically like a special techniques are there, special rules are there, and depending upon the style and form of calligraphy, it keeps on changing as well. So for example, modern calligraphy has less rules and is less rigid and flexible as compared to traditional scripts like copper plate, Spencerian, penmanship, etc. So we are going to discuss that in further, but in a nutshell, it's a total myth that your calligraphy depends upon your handwriting, and you need to have good handwriting to learn calligraphy. So don't let this myth stop you from learning calligraphy. Here's another term called lettering, which is usually confused with calligraphy. Lettering is a very wide subject. It is a very wide topic and involves a lot more than just stylizing letters. Lettering basically has to do everything with formation and creation of the letters to communicate meaning. So for example, this I'll attach some pictures here as well of lettering and calligraphy. So basically lettering is a really free form of communicating in written language, and calligraphy is totally different from that. Calligraphy has some basic principles, it has some basic rules, and it involves some specific writing instruments. So for example, if I talk about copper plate script, which is a traditional pointed pen calligraphy script, it involves the use of nibs, ink and a holder or a pointed pen. So here you can see that there is a specific writing instrument that is needed in that particular script. Not only that, it also needs to have all the letters aligned in 45 degrees or 55 degrees, and the width and the ratio of the letters and the spacing between the letters also has to be the same throughout. So this is a traditional script, although in modern calligraphy we have some less rules and it is more flexible, but we do have some basic strokes and some basic guidelines that needs to be followed. So calligraphy is basically a science and an art of stylizing letters, of basically writing the letters in a more beautiful and designer way, and it involves a lot of guidelines and basic principles and rules that need to be followed. However, lettering is a very wide subject and it does not have any specific art supplies involved, and it also includes fonts, typography, graffiti, graphic design and even much more. So you can say that calligraphy might be a part of lettering, but they both are totally different from each other. Although brush calligraphy is sometimes commonly known as brush lettering because it's just how the world is functioning, but it is a little, calligraphy and lettering is very different from each other. So now we have seen that calligraphy has nothing to do with your handwriting, and calligraphy and lettering are also totally different from each other.